Hello, everyone. Come on into the webinar. My name is Linda Peavy, and I am going to be your hostess this afternoon, where, yes, we're going to talk about how you absolutely can still get grants as a Black-owned business or a Black-led nonprofit, and even more. So as you come in, I see you coming in. Give that city and that state a shout out. Let me know where you are coming in from. I am in Ohio, Ohio. Go Browns, go Browns. Let me know. Faith is coming in. Where are you coming in from, Faith? New York. And Stephen is coming in. Let me know where you're coming in. Ah, the Big D, Detroit. The Motor City is in the house, and Wendy is coming in from Virginia. Virginia, the state for lovers, right? Yes. And Sabrina, is that right? Sabrina from Houston, and Mavis is coming in from Chattanooga. Jennifer from California, and Ina from New York, and Gerald is coming in from Detroit. Look at Detroit showing up. And Dana is coming in from Rome, Georgia. Wow, look at Detroit up in the house. Our neighbors just right to the northwest. We love Detroit. Let me know where you are coming in from. I am in Ohio, in central Ohio. Hello, Raphael from Tennessee. Tennessee is up in the house. I have on my bucket list to travel to all 50 states. I'm at 40. I have 10 more to go, and I'm pretty sure I visited all of these states represented. All beautiful, all unique, and all fantastic. All right. So again, my name is Linda Peavy. I'm going to be your host for this afternoon, and I am so glad that you decided to hop on because I have some really important information to share with you today about grants as they pertain to you as a Black-led organization. And I hope you will leave today encouraged. And I will probably be sharing information with you that you probably haven't heard anywhere else before. So it's going to be really important that you share this information with others in our community, right? Other Black-led organizations. Share. Don't keep it to yourself because we are in this together. All right. So I'm going to share my screen now and get started because I do have a lot of information to share with you. So let me make sure everything is pulled up correctly. And then we are going to get started. All right. There we go. And you should be able now to see my screen. All right. Grant writing for Black-owned businesses and Black-led nonprofits. This is my masterclass. Yes, we are live. And I have another session coming tonight as well at 7 o'clock. So if you know anybody who wants to join us later on today as well, it'll be the same session. We're going to drop the link in a little bit later. But for now, we are going to get started. So come on in. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. All right. Now, let me just officially introduce myself. And I think that was the name of a song, right? All right. Oh, I'm getting ready to tell my age. All right. So, yes, they call me the Grants Queen because I have won almost $20 million now in grants for clients. And this is year 17 of me being in this industry as a grant writer. And most recently, as an instructor, I now teach grant writing. 3 years ago, I created a grant writing school. It is an online academy. I now serve over 3,000 students. Nonprofits and small businesses are learning how to win grants, not just write, win grants. And I have trained over 30,000 organizations in grant writing to date. Now I teach again. I teach oftentimes for your small organizations, sometimes privately. Sometimes I'll travel across the country to teach in person. It could be for small businesses, but I also teach for some of your larger organizations as well, like the Urban League or the National Association of Women Business Owners, Goldman Sachs, where I am a proud alumnus of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program, and my undergrad and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. And yes, I consider it absolutely to be my passion and my mission to teach how to get funding, especially for minority-owned organizations, whether you are a nonprofit or a small business. All right. Now, let me tell you how I got in this space, because I didn't always used to be the grants queen. I was a publishing executive in Pennsylvania for about 10 years, and then the bottom fell out. Literally, I went from traveling all over the world in my job to literally having to move back home to Cleveland because I got hurt. I got injured, and I had to be seen by the Cleveland Clinic. Cleveland is my home, so I ended up going home. Never thought I would go back home in a wheelchair, but I did. Couldn't even stand. Put everything I owned in a storage unit and moved in with my sister. So when I tell you, I know how it is to start from ground zero, because that's exactly what I had to do. And it took me 2 years to recuperate. And at the end of those 2 years, I'm in Cleveland, right? My background is in publishing, professional publishing. I couldn't find a job. And that's when I started my company, LaPav Consulting. It's been 17 years and I have not looked back. Well, once I was able to work again, one of my first positions was to be a contracted executive director for a nonprofit. So let me know right now, who is here with me? Let me know in the chat. Are you a nonprofit? Or maybe you're a small business, meaning you could be maybe an LLC or a sole proprietor, right? Or even an S Corp or even a partnership. Or maybe you are both, because I'm finding that a lot of small businesses are starting nonprofits and vice versa. So let me know in the chat, who is here with me today? LLC, sole proprietor, small business, oh, both. Nonprofit, yes, yes, yes. Sole proprietor. All right, let me tell you that you're in the right place, because there are grants for both. I'm going to say that again. There are grants for both entities, whether you are a nonprofit or whether you are a small business. And as a small business, you know, you could be a sole proprietor, you could be a solopreneur, right? You could be an LLC, you could be that partnership or an S Corp. There are grants for all of those entities, all right? So back to my little story. So here I am, the executive director of a nonprofit. Now, first of all, people, I like to keep things real. You'll know that as I move through. And besides, we're all family here today, right? All right. So I wasn't there for 2 weeks before I was called into the board of directors office and told that I had to write a grant that would pay for my salary, that would literally save my job and save the organization. And some of you know that there are times when people who look like us are called in to do what? Save the program, save the project, sometimes save the entire organization. So if you know what I mean, give me a yes in the chat if you know what I mean, right? But you know what? I do. Oh, I'm getting some yeses. I'm getting some yeses, people. You know what I mean. Yes, yes, yes. But you know what? I did it. I researched, I wrote that grant, I won that grant. It paid for my job for the entire year. And even after I left, grant writing became my most sought after service. So I went from calling for help because I had never seen a grant before when I was asked to write that grant to save my job, to winning $500 grants. And then I went to winning $500,000 grants. Then I went from winning local grants to national grants to multi-year grants. And so that's when the money truck came in, right? And that's what I want you to envision, your name on the money truck, because this is possible. I learned that you can write grants, you can win grants with zero experience. There is a process to this, and that is what I'm going to teach you today. And guess what? It is about more than what you write in the application, because I'm all about placing you in a position, not just to write a bunch of grants, but to win grants. All right, because I want your name on the money truck. All right. This is year 17 for me being in this industry. So I hear from you all the time. And I know that you are tired of using your own money to pay for your passion, whether it's your small business or whether it's the nonprofit, right? But also, you're tired of wearing all 20 hats. And grant money can be used to support your organization, for you to hire support staff, for you to pay for supplies. All right, we'll talk much more about what you can do in grant money as we move through. All right, all right. Now, what are we going to cover? I'm going to give you what's going on with grants right now. All right, I will give you some grant basics. I will teach you how do you prepare to apply for grants. Then what do you write in the application? How do you write the application so that you are getting noticed in a sea of applications? And then really, how do you attract the right foundation? All right. And then how do you get noticed in a sea of applications? And then how do you conduct the grant research so that you are finding the right funder? Do you know that like 87% of grant applications are rejected because you haven't even applied to the right funder? Too often you see the money, oh my gosh, $1 million grant, a $100,000 grant, I better apply. And it's not even the right funder. Because if you are baking cakes at a bakery, which is your store, right? And you apply to a grant from a foundation that's only giving money to people who build motorcycles, not a good match. All right. So I'm going to show you what you need to do. And then we're going to talk about AI. And then I have a bonus surprise. And then we're going to get to the Q&A. Now, speaking of Q&A, people, don't be shy. This is your opportunity to ask a grants expert your grant question. So please drop them in either the chat or the Q&A box. And yes, this is a no fluff zone. I don't do fluff. I don't do fluff. All right. So you're going to get information that is literally going to help you to start winning grant money. All right. All right. Now, why are we here? We're here because we as Black organizations need access to funding. And guess what? It shouldn't always be about loans. Like, are you as tired as I am of hearing about loans? We want grant funding, because grant funding you don't pay back. But let me share something with all of you. You can do this. You can do this. Grant writing is not what it used to be. You're not writing some 500-page document for 3 months at a time. There's a process to winning, though. Do you know that a lot of applications now, 3, 4, 5 pages, that's it. 3, 4, 5 pages, because foundations simply do not have the staff to sort through 200-page documents, right? So you can do this. But what I've learned after having won over $18 million, there's a process. That is what I'm going to show you today. So get ready. Listen up, people. Now, let's talk about what is going on right now. Now, we know that the federal government has cut grants horrifically, all right? But guess what? Federal grants do not equal all grants. Grants come from thousands of resources. Your private foundations, community foundations, family foundations, corporate foundations, and yes, they give to nonprofits and small businesses. And guess what? They are still giving billions of dollars in grant funding. So I want you to be encouraged, all right, and understand that there is grant money still available, all right? Now, here is the great news. Because of the federal grant cuts, the need didn't go away, right? However, you are implementing your programs or your project or your services, whether you are a small business or a nonprofit, the need didn't go away. The need is as great as ever. So here's what's happening. Those corporate and private and family foundations are literally stepping in to cover the gaps left by the federal grant cuts. So what are they doing? They are increasing the amount of their funding. Yes, they're not only increasing the amount of the grant money that they're giving, they're increasing the number of grants being provided. So while you got some people sitting in the corner crying because they're thinking, oh my gosh, there are no grants available because of the federal grant cuts, you've got other people, including Black organizations like yours, that's getting 5 and 6 figure grants. I know my students are 5 and 6 figure grants because they are following my framework. So even though there's a lot of craziness going on, yes, organizations are still getting 5 and 6 figure grants. All right, because this money is still available. Also, your state and local governments still have grant money. I'm in Ohio. There's a $30 million grant right now being distributed in the state of Ohio. There's a $20 million grant in Michigan being provided because not all state and local government funding comes from the federal government. A lot of these local government, state governments raise their own funding. All right. So be encouraged. Like, did you know that your local government has grant money? Have you met with them? Right. So again, be encouraged. All right. All right. All right. I hear you, Gerald. I hear you. All right. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? We're going to talk about it for what it is. It includes all minorities, women of any ethnicity, veterans, the disabled. Right now, we know that the federal government has cut DEI and they're pressuring like foundations and other organizations to cut their DEI programs, and it's happening. But there are also organizations. I literally just had this conversation yesterday. There are so many organizations, foundations, right, that give to these communities. They give to minorities, they give to women, they give to the veterans and the disabled. They're not just going to stop giving to these communities because of what's going on in the White House, but they also don't want to feel the wrath coming out of the White House. So what are they doing? They're tweaking the language. They're tweaking their language. I've literally sat in the rooms with leaders of some of the largest corporations in this country, from the commissioner of the NFL to Spotify to Delta. They're all about diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? And they're going to continue to give in these areas, but they're tweaking the language. And that's what you're going to do. That's what I'm going to show you exactly how to do. So at the end of the day, you still get grant funding. So what you're going to do, you're going to talk about what are the conditions that you are addressing. What are the outcomes that you want? What are the barriers that you are addressing with your program if you serve these communities? In the grant world, we call it quiet DEI. What does it look like? Let's say your program offers youth development opportunities for Black boys. That's who you serve. You don't stop serving Black boys. You tweak your language. So now you're going to say we provide youth development for historically underserved and underrepresented boys, or serving boys disproportionately impacted by economic and educational inequities. You're taking out the word Black and putting in the condition that you are addressing, right? Because you don't want your application ignored, right? But these are the buzzwords that you need to be looking for because we know what this means: underserved, underrepresented, and the same for women. If you have maybe a career coaching program for women, you may have to tweak this language and now say, our program offers workforce development support for those facing systemic barriers to career advancement. We know what that means, women, right? Or providing career development services tailored to those who experience unique workforce challenges due to what? Caregiving responsibilities, wage gaps, systemic inequities. Do you see what I'm doing? This is very important because at the end of the day, you need to get grant money. And this is what organizations are doing that are providing the grant money still. They're just tweaking the language. So you need to know how to tweak your language, right? And it doesn't mean you need to start from scratch. It just needs, it means you need to be prepared to tweak that language and to know what buzzwords to look for. This is very important for you to get. So if you know what I mean, if you're getting this, give me a yes in the chat, because this is how you're still going to apply for what really is DEI funding, but they're tweaking the language a bit. So give me a yes if you get this. This is very, very important for you to understand how to do. Now, keep in mind, there are still organizations that proudly support DEI. I was invited to the headquarters of Victoria's Secret about 3 weeks ago. Literally, you walk in, there's just one whole wall was we love DI, we support DI. But there are organizations, others that need to be mindful of the pressure coming from the current administration. So they're just tweaking the language. Literally had a conversation with someone yesterday where they still got a grant because that language was tweaked, but they knew how to rewrite to make sure they got the grant. All right, back to the basics. What do you need to know? Grants are not paid back. All right. Now, for my nonprofits, make sure you have your 501c3. That's your tax exempt charitable organization designation by the IRS. It's taking about 8 weeks to get it. Make sure you have it and make sure that you are looking into the chat because we're going to be posting some really important links in the chat as we move through. Now, I want everybody to look at this slide. This is critical for you to understand what's going on. This is the amount of grant funding given every year. We've got the new numbers from 2024. People, $200 billion just coming from foundations and corporations and bequest giving. So these are your community foundations, your private foundations, your corporate foundations, right? You don't see federal funding anywhere on this slide. This is why I need for you to understand this money is being given away every single day. Yes, including the organization that look like yours. You've got to understand how to get it. And look at this number, $200 billion, right? That's what's being given out. But I don't want you to ever look at any of these numbers and get intimidated. Like, oh, Linda, there's no way I can get any of this money. Like, that's just too much. Like, I can't. Yes, you can. Because I want you to focus on what you need, right? Focus on what you need because at the end of the day, you just need a little bit of $200 billion. So everybody right now into the chat, I want you to write, I just need a little bit. I need for you to understand. Know what you need. Everybody right now in the chat, you just need a little bit of $200 billion, right? So when you see these numbers, like, don't be intimidated. Don't think, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Leanne and Faith and Wendy and Jessica. Nobody's trying to be greedy, Marquis, right? You're not trying to get all $200 billion, right? Roberta, this is a huge pie. That's right, Macy. She just needs a little percentage, right? Look, people, I will take the crumbs that fall from $200 billion. All right, that's right, Faith. There is enough for everybody, but you have to apply. You've got to apply, especially now that you see the money is available. All right. All right. Now, I need for you to prepare to apply for grants. Too many organizations, they download those applications, they complete them, they send them off, and they wonder why they get a rejection letter. You do not have to be a professional grant writer, but I want you to write the application well. Get help. I use Grammarly, and I am a professional grant writer, a professional writer, and a professional editor. I would not write without Grammarly. It is a software editing tool that you download onto your computer. It is free. It self-corrects as you write. So if you use Grammarly, you're very smart. Give yourself some love in the chat if you're using Grammarly. I would highly recommend that you do this. Why? Because I do not want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors, and I cannot tell you how easy that is to do. There is no such thing as like a perfect grant application if you're not using some type of help, some type of tool, right? I was in publishing, professional publishing for 15 years, published very well-known authors. Never saw a perfect manuscript. Never saw one, right? So if you, Leanne is using Grammarly. Yes, Jessica, are you using Grammarly? Trinisha is phenomenal. It's free. It's free. So download it, people, and download this article because it will also help make you a better writer. Now we are preparing to apply. Get your documents in order. Do you have your EIN, your employer identification number? Nonprofits, you need your 501c3. Are you a legitimate organization? Do you have your articles of incorporation? Nonprofits especially, do you have your list of board members? That is critical. You know, you need a board, right, to even operate, to be considered a nonprofit. Letters of support are critical, right? Let the foundations know that there are other organizations that support you. Name drop if you have to. Do you know the mayor? Do you know politicians who can give you letters of support? Or you can go to your pastor, your church, community leaders. Now, if you are currently operating, yes, you need your financial statement, and that is going to include your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement. Now, all of you, yes, all of you, need a current operating budget. I do not want you to freak out because an operating budget is only a document where you are listing what you think your expenses are going to be for the upcoming year. Because really, at the end of the day, you need to know approximately how much money it's going to take for you to function, right? For you to operate over the course of a year. You just write them down. Write down what you think your expenses are going to be. It will also help you to determine how much grant money you need. All right. Because oftentimes people think they need far more grant money than they actually do once they write down what they think their expenses actually will be. All right. All right. Now, let's get to the application. I'm going to give you best practices so that you write as if you are telling your story, because a grant application is an opportunity for you to tell your story. We've got to start with the mission. The mission is everything. So if you don't have a mission statement, that is your homework 101 today. And it doesn't matter if you have a small business or a nonprofit. Your mission will get you grant funding because your mission needs to align with the mission of the foundation, right? So if you are laser focused on maybe K through 12 education, make sure you are applying for grant money from a foundation that also has a passion for education. So it goes beyond defining like what you do, your aims and your goals. So mission critical. All right. Now, this is where and how foundations are giving grant money. It's all about impact. It's all about impact and transformation. No longer are these feel-good initiatives enough. You can say you want to help save the world, not good enough. How are you doing it? So as you are describing your organization, you must talk about your impact, which means you need to track your success. Let's say you have an after-school program. It's not good enough for you to just say, okay, we serve 150 students in our after-school program. What's happening to the students, right? Can you say, okay, 80% improved their test scores because of our after-school program, 60% gained confidence because of our after-school program? That's literally measurable change. Let's say you have a restaurant, you have an LLC. When you opened, how many employees did you have? How many do you have now? How many people are you serving in the community? Do you have any other programs that you offer? Maybe you offer cooking lessons, right, to the community. What is your impact, right? Let's say you haven't opened. You haven't opened, right? You're a startup. You still need to talk about what you expect your impact will be. Now you can project. So let's say you have that after-school tutoring program. You can say that you project that once students complete your tutoring program, they will increase their reading scores by 10%. And what does that mean? It means they may be able to graduate on time, right? So it doesn't matter whether or not you are open or you have yet to open. You still need to write about impact or what you hope your impact will be. This is how foundations are giving grant money. All right. All right. Now, when you write this application, you must write as if you are solving a problem. And I find that small businesses really have a problem with this. They really struggle with this. But I ask you to think about why you opened. What is making you different, right? You may think you just have like, okay, I have an online jewelry company and I want to sell jewelry online and I need a grant to help pay for the website. Why did you open? What is it that's different about your organization, right? I consult with organizations all the time. And when we do a deep dive, I realize, okay, there's something unique about what you're doing, right? Your jewelry, for example, could be for people with sensitive skin. That's solving a problem, right? Or maybe it's homemade jewelry. That's solving a problem. So you have to ask yourself, what is the issue or problem that you are addressing with whatever your organization is? Because whatever that problem is going to lead you to the foundation that wants to give you money. Because guess what? They are giving funding to solve the same issue. And yes, there are foundations that give money to online jewelry companies, right? That's why you have to know where and how foundations give their grant money. How do you find out? You go to their websites. It's typically all there. Now, I know 90% of foundations don't have a website, but there's a way that you can get information about those foundations too. All right. And this is very important for you to understand how to write. Now, all of you have a decision to make when you are seeking grant money. Are you seeking operating grants or program project grants? You have to choose one or the other per foundation. Now, if at all possible, you always want to try to get an operating grant, because you get a general operating support grant, you get to decide where to put that grant money. It could be towards IT, salaries, staff, building that website. You help to build your capacity with an operating grant. You get to pay for your administrative cost. Only about 32% of foundations give this support, though. Most grants go to a particular program or project, which is okay. Let's take that restaurant. Maybe she wants to start a delivery service. That could be a project. So again, don't think because you have a small business that you can't think about a project or a program based on your small business. Whatever you do, though, you have to apply to multiple foundations. I want you to tell me why that is, right? I want you to tell me in the chat, why do you think you have to apply to multiple foundations? Why should you be always applying for grants? Keep in mind, people, this is not a one and done industry. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. That's right, Faith. The more you apply, the more chances you have to get grants, right? Mavis, it's like a lottery ticket. Not so much, because that's part of what's been the issue. I don't want it to be like a lottery ticket, because I want you to be strategic about where you are applying, right? But you have to apply to multiple foundations, because grants still are not guaranteed. That's right, Macy. Do not put all those expensive eggs in one basket. But Gerald, you're absolutely right. And this becomes very important. It keeps your name out there. You know why that's so important? Because people in the foundation world know each other, right? Foundation leaders belong to associations, so they know each other. So yes, it keeps your program out there, it keeps your project out into the foundation world. And at the end of the day, grants are not guaranteed. Don't let anybody tell you they can guarantee you grant money, right? Please don't do that. You're absolutely right, Tranisha. That is true, because one day it's an organization, and the next day it's an organization, but sometimes they shift their criteria. Absolutely. Because they may fund your program 1 year, and in year 2, the foundation has shifted where they give money, and they may be funding other areas of interest. So you don't want to be left high and dry. You should have multiple grants coming in. But again, grants are not guaranteed. People, this is how you get scammed. And after 17 years, I've seen and heard it all. All right. Especially on Facebook in particular. Oh my gosh. I see it all the time. Guaranteed grant money. Come here. Apply here. Everybody wins. 99.9% of the time, they're scammers. I'm going to say that again. 99.9% of the time, they're scammers. So be careful. All right. No such thing as guaranteed grant money. Apply to multiple foundations and make sure that you are strategic about where you're applying. Don't be seduced by these large dollar grants. They may not be for you. They may not even be in your category. All right. So be careful out there. Now, partnerships are everything. everything. They can get you to the grant money quicker. Let me give you a couple of examples as to why all of you, it doesn't matter how large or small you are, you must have community partnerships. And I don't mean partnerships where you're exchanging money. No, I mean community support for your organization. Let's say you have an accounting firm, you're an LLC, you give a free tax talk every month at your local library, which I think are like criminally underutilized. You know what they're going to do? They're going to promote your tax talk. You're going to have an audience, right? I think libraries have everybody's email address, by the way. So they're going to promote your tax talk. What does this do for you? It raises your level of visibility. Why is that important? Because foundations are always looking to see who's doing what in the community, right? And now you've got your library as one of your partners. Let me give you another example, make this crystal clear. Young lady has an ex-offender program. Ex-offender programs. She wants to make sure that when people are released back into the community from jail, that they become successful members of the community. Now, she has to meet with inmates before they're released just to make sure that they qualify for her program, right? I want you to tell me who she should be meeting with in the community to let them know about her program. Who should be her community partners? This is an ex-offender program. She's got to meet with the inmates, make sure they qualify for the program, but she wants them to be successful once they're released back into society, right? Nobody wants that recidivism rate to be high. We want it to be low. That's the rate at which prisoners will go back to jail. Nobody wants that. You tell me right now into the chat, who should she be meeting with? Absolutely. Yashika, halfway houses, you don't want people to be homeless. Tranisha, judges, police chiefs, right? They need to know about her program so that they can maybe even recommend it, right, to other systems. The probation officers, absolutely, right? Leanne, probation officers, yes, 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 right? And what about businesses? What about workforce development organizations? There are companies that will hire ex-offenders, right? You don't want them to go back to jail, right? You want them to be trained in something. That's right, Melton. Community programs. The Goodwill has one. They do. They have a workforce development program because you want them to be trained in a skill so that they're not committing crimes, right? And Renee, all of the law enforcement agencies, you see how this is not difficult. We've come up with probably, oh my gosh, 7 or 8 different organizations that this young lady should be meeting with to get her program out there. This is what you're going to do. And you're right, Melton, the social service agencies, why? Because maybe some of them have addictions. They need ongoing counseling. Social service agencies, right? Parenting classes. Some of them are going to be reunited with their families. Churches, faith-based organizations, a lot of churches have ex-offender programs. This is what you're going to do. This is your homework. I need for you to name 5 organizations that you are going to partner with. Name 5 based on your nonprofit or your business. Name 5. This is your homework. And then don't just name 5 for me. I need you to do the work. Even if you have not opened, you need to know what is available, who can help you, right? This is critical for your grant application because you're going to be asked this question. Who are your community partners, right? This becomes important, people. So whether it's the Urban League, HBCUs, 100 Black Men of America, get your 5. Now let's get to the money. You're going to create a grant budget. This is how you're going to showcase your avenues to expend the grant dollars. How are you spending the grant money? And whatever you do, itemize these expenses. You really can't say on the grant application, oh, I need $50,000 to hire an executive director and leave it at that. No. Is it a contracted position? What is the hourly rate? What is the pay rate per hour and how many hours a week? How many weeks out of the year? You need supplies? How many supplies do you need? What are you going to use the supplies for? Be specific. And here's a nugget for you. always connect your use of the grant money back to your mission and the mission of the foundation. In other words, the way in which you're using the grant money, align it to how it supports your mission and how it supports the mission of the foundation. That all goes into the budget narrative, which is usually a Word document. Excuse me, the grant budget, which are numbers, usually go into an Excel file. All right. All right. All right. All right. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Linda, this doesn't look too bad, but I don't have time for this. I don't have time to write these grants. Remember what I said to you at the beginning, that many of these applications are 3, 4, 5 pages. Like, you can do this. And let me tell you, AI will give you your time back. Look, the world of spending weeks and weeks and weeks to write a grant over. All right. We're talking about hours, not weeks, because of AI and because of the shortness of the applications. And so for those who are saying, oh, I don't think I have time to write these grants, I have a question for you and everybody else, really. And I would like an answer in the chat. Do you have time to get free money? Do you have time to get free money? Let me see in the chat if anybody has time to get free money. Oh, I see. I have time. Somebody said I have time to get free money. I'm saying I do. I'm saying definitely. I'm saying yes to the free money. I'm saying always. I'm saying yes, yes. So it sounds to me like you got time to get free money. So if you got time to get free money, I need you to spend just a little bit of time on the process to get the free money. All right. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to build a relationship. People, this is the slide here. So if you don't take anything else away from this webinar, this is it. This is oftentimes the deciding factor as to whether or not you get a grant. Did you meet with the foundation before you submitted the grant? You need to meet with the foundation before you submit the grant. They want to meet with you. They're considering giving you grant money. You want to meet with them because you're trying to get their grant money. And you cannot see this as a money grab, people. You need to see this as a relationship, because guess what? You want to go back in year 2, in year 3, and year 4 to get more grant money from them. In this meeting, they oftentimes will share information with you and give you insight about the grant that's not even on their website. So you want to have this meeting. I've probably set up 1,000 of these in the last 17 years. I always remember one 30-minute meeting, $30,000 for the client, because the mission's aligned. And it was a Zoom meeting. Yes, I said Zoom. Most of these meetings will be 30-minute Zoom meetings. Now, if you live in close proximity to the foundation or the organization, meet with them in person. But typically, these are Zoom meetings. All right? All right. Now, this is another nugget for you. How do you do this? How do you set up the meeting? I said this was a no-fluff zone, people. I'm literally showing you how to get this money. Send an email. In the email, you are introducing yourself. You are describing how your organization, whether it's your mission or your programming or your services, align to where they are giving. What you're not going to do is ask for money in this email. You're going to ask for a meeting in the email. And in the meeting, you ask for the money. Got it? It is a mindset. It's absolutely a mindset. Because, Leanne, where you've got some people scared to do this, you got other people that look just like you and your organization. I'm telling you, getting 5- and 6-figure grants. I know my students are. My students that have Black organizations are winning 5- and 6-figure grants. Not now, right now, because they're following my strategy. All right. September 18th. When was that? Last week. This is Hezbollah, Sisters Against Domestic Violence. She just posted this in our Facebook group. Is excited to announce that they received a $10,000 grant, right? She's like, we now have funding to assist our next client. They give legal support for survivors. She says, all praise to the Most High. Linda Peavy's course really works, y'all. Uh, Black organization, $10,000. This was just last week. I have so many of these different testimonials that come into our private Facebook group. This is just like one, right? Right now, this is happening right now, right? While some people are scared to move forward, this is so important how you deal with that foundation in the meeting that I'm giving a special webinar on it. It's called the Grant Meeting Secrets. This is literally an encore. There were so many people that tried to get on the last one that I'm giving a second one. It is next Wednesday. The link to sign up is being placed into the chat. It is totally free. How you walk in prepared and you walk out funded. All right. I'm giving you secrets as to what you need to do in that foundation meeting because it is so important that you are prepared. All right. So sign up. The link is in the chat, but if you're going to attend, please sign up as soon as possible because again, oh my gosh, there were so many people last time trying to get it. It was literally like 800 or 900 people. So please sign up now. It's totally free because spaces are limited. All right. Spaces are limited. All right. Now let's get to the money, the grant research. How do you find this money? Now, people, Google is fine, but I need for you to use a grant portal that is dedicated to grants. Foundation Directory Online. It is the leading source on the organizations that give you the grant money. So if you're in Detroit and you have a program where you help homeless veterans get into transitional housing, you plug that in and it will give you a list of the organizations. $50 a month to subscribe to FDL, which is also called Candid, or totally free access at your local library. Totally free access at your local library. All right. The link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. So look for the link, right? Look into your chat for the link to register. All right. Now, grants.gov. Yes, there are still some federal grants available. Yes, there are. Lilly Foundation is the largest funder of religious organizations. Yes, people, if you have a church or a faith-based organization, yes, there are grants for you. I know of 2 grants right now. One is a worship grant. Yes. The other grant is strictly for Black churches. This is why you have to understand. You cannot believe everything you see on TV or in the media about there are no grants. There are no grants for Black organizations. It's just not true. Right now, there are 2 grants that I know of, and there are many others. One is for worship. One is strictly for Black churches. All right. Grant Watch. They give you a grant list, a synopsis, and then contact information about the funder. They're $20 a week or $200 for the whole year. Grant Station, $200 for the whole year. They give you grant openings and free trainings. Urban Awareness USA, they are Black owned. They have a conference coming up, I believe, in the late fall. Black owned, sign up. They have free training. Tell them Linda Peavy sent you. Grants for creators. If you are a writer, an artist, a poet, maybe you do films, you're in theater, dance, a musician, $97 to subscribe for the whole year to find your grants. Grants for creators. The grant portal is the internet's largest grant catalog, $197 for the whole year. If you can afford it, Instrumental is great, but they're $200 a month. Now, they do provide you with grant research assistance. All right. All right. All right. So this is where you find the grants, people. You have to use a grant portal. All right. All right. Now, let me just show you really quickly how you do this research. Let's say you go to Grant Station. They're $200 for the whole year. You get 1 year being able to search for grants. Look to my right, areas of interest. You've got to plug in what is your area. And for every block you see, there's probably 10 or 15 drop-down blocks. And then put in your target population. You must have one. You cannot help everybody. So it doesn't matter again whether you have a small business or a nonprofit, you can't help everybody. That restaurant, who is it for? Is it a soul food restaurant, Italian restaurant, Greek restaurant? Who is your target population? Right? You should have one, maybe two. This is how organizations go under because you're trying to help everybody. One or two target populations and refer everybody else to somebody else. All right, there's a way in which you do this. I've served as a business coach and a nonprofit coach for 16 years now. There's a way in which you do it. Plug in your target population. You push a button, you get a list of grants, right? This is Grant Station. All right. Now, I will not go through all of these grants. These are available now, yes. But I give this to you so that you can understand when you search for grants, yes, you can search for broader grants, grants for just small businesses or grants for just nonprofits, but you can also focus on grants for Black-owned businesses, right? Or Black-led nonprofits. So there's a list of Black grants at the top. If you have a Black-led nonprofit, there's a list under support Black charities. Operation Hope, that's John Hope Bryant. He wants to support 1 million Black businesses. He's up to 400,000. LISC, they've given away $1 billion since 1979, and they are laser focused on communities of color, right? Shea Moisture, that grant I'm almost sure is opening in October. Are you opening up a Black hair care salon? Let's go to Amarillo, where it says small. They're out of Texas. For those of you that are thinking, Linda, this is not for me. I'm too small. I'm a solopreneur, or I have a nonprofit where I don't even pay myself. I don't pay anybody. Amarillo only gives grants to super small organizations. And yes, you can have an all-volunteer nonprofit and get grant money. What is your impact? How are you transforming people's lives? And those of you who are startups, yes, there are startup grants, busy and sky's the limit. I want to mention Amber Grants for Women for a moment because they're one of the few organizations where they will give you startup money when you haven't yet made one dime. They will literally give you startup money based on your idea. That's Amber Grants for Women. All right. All right. Now, really quickly, I want all of you to place into the chat, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Banks and money. Into the chat. Banks and money. Credit. Good credit, loans. Do you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money? Grant money in the United States. I'm in Ohio. The Key Bank Foundation is one of the largest foundations in Ohio. I'm giving you 4 hot leads: Bank of America, Wells Fargo, TD Banks, and Truist. Bank of America and Wells Fargo each separately give over $120 million a year in grant money. I'm here to show you that not all money comes from the federal government. What did we see earlier? $200 billion is being given out this year. How are you going to place yourself in a position to get it? Can't get grant money unless you write grants. All right. Let's talk about AI. It is phenomenal. What it will do is help perfect your grant application, but there's no getting around. You needed to understand how to write about your organization. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you need to know how to write your need statement, your impact statement, your mission, your history, about your service, about how you are transforming people's lives, right? And so you write that. You have to know how to write it. And then you can always plug that information into AI and just have it perfected. You have to give it prompts, right? You have to feed AI, but you learn how to write. Nobody can write about your organization like you. Nobody knows it like you. So you learn how to write. And that's where my bonus surprise comes in, because I believe that it is so important to be in a community of support if you are going to be seeking these grants, so that you have somewhere to go to get your questions answered, to get counsel on what grants you should be pursuing, give you writing tips, give you current list of grants available, right? Keep you focused, keep you accountable. And so if you're interested in working with me directly, I have a grant writing course. I have many resources and services, but this is the basics. This will teach you how to write about your organization. This is how I won over $18 million. I put it in a course. It's step by step. You're going to learn how to write every part of that grant application. You're going to learn how to find the grant money. But here's your secret weapon. It is going to be me. I'm going to serve as your grant coach. My course is for people who are ready to get this grant money, right? Because let's say you set up the meeting with the foundation. Do you know how much money you should be asking for? Do you know what you never leave that meeting without knowing? We have a private Facebook group. Come into the group. It is for peer counseling. It is for support. I am there often. Come in there. Let us know what you need. Ask your questions and you will get the help that you need. All right. 12 modules, 35 lessons. I have videos, but in the last 17 years, I've been hired to build grant applications, including creating the questions. I've utilized grant questions for this course. So I know what is being asked of you. You go through my lessons, you answer these questions, and at the end, when you're done, you will have a grant template. Use that grant template to start applying for grant after grant after grant. This is why it makes it easier and faster. You never should have to start from the beginning, right? And then, yes, I give you winning grants so that you see what a winning grant looks like. All right. And then you get all the support and the help you need from the Facebook group, right? But you get even more help because I offer bonuses. You get a list of over 600, that's 600 organizations that provide grants. The Facebook group is everything. It is everything. I have 2,000 students just in the Facebook group. They're there to just support each other, but it allows me to help you as well. And it's all about collaboration, no competition. You have a child care organization. People who buy the course, they come into the Facebook group and ask if there are any other child care organizations. And because I am here to help you, yes, you're going to get the video. You're going to get a video of this entire presentation. And I'm not charging you for the video because I want you to have it and I want you to share with other organizations. Because I said at the beginning, we're in this together, right? So I'm not charging you for any of the replay that you're going to get. But I'm even giving you an hour of free group coaching once you buy the course. Make sure you don't get stuck. Make sure you're getting all of your questions answered, right? Now, I've had my course audited. It's been 3 times now. 3 times I've had it audited. It's a $5,000 grant writing course. It's like a college level course, but it's so much easier because you get the help that you need. And guess what? People enjoy it because you are writing about what you're passionate about and you get help. I even have questions literally embedded into every lesson, where if you have a question about the lesson, you click the box, the question comes directly to me. So it's a $5,000 course. It's normally $997. I reduced it all this year because I know organizations are struggling and I don't want to be another hindrance or another hurdle put in your way to keep you from learning how to get this grant funding. So I reduced it to $497 at the beginning of the year, and that's where it stands. That's what people pay for it. If they don't have a code, a coupon code, a discount code, you hopped on the webinar, right? Letting me know you need help. You could have been somewhere else at noon. Use our code to take another $200 off of the course. Yes, it's going to be $297. That's one and done. That's not a monthly rate. That's one and done. Why is it so cheap? Because it is helping organizations like yours to get grant money. Now, yes, I have other services. I do grant coaching. I do grant research, right? But this course is helping organizations to win grant funding. And so I keep it low so that you get the help that you need. So the code that you're going to use is SEPT24. Even if you need more help and you want our 2-month payment plan, we have it as well. It's $175 a month for 2 months, and then you're done then. But just put a little T on the end of the code. So it'll be SEPT24 with the little T, just to let us know you want the 2-month payment plan. You read right. The course never expires. You know most courses expire after what? 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. The course never expires. All right. If you're interested in working with me, the link is in the chat. This is everything you get: course, Facebook group, coaching. Write everything off. It's tax deductible. Even your $297, you write it off. So yes, you'll be getting a $5,000 course, audited $5,000 course. $297, you're going to write it off. You get a certificate of completion when you're done, and you'll finally get the help that you need to stop writing a bunch of grants and actually start winning grants. All right? All right. Now, these are organizations that look like you. They're my students. June, $250,000. Think about that ROI. She invested less than $300. She won $250,000 in June. She didn't even ask for it. She asked for $50,000 a year over 2 years. They took one look at her application and said, this is so good. We need for you to expand this program. Let's counter. Let's give you $250,000. And for those of you who are thinking that small businesses don't get grant money, she has a small business. She has a for-profit. Whitney, $200,000. She started local and then she went national. And that's what I want you to do. Don't just go local. Start local. It's easier to get local grant money. Always start local. But also apply for your national grants. Look, there could be a foundation in Texas that give money to you and you're in Tennessee. She learned how to do this, so this is what she's doing. $200,000 in 1 year. Kanisha, $100,000 this year. Last month, $84,000 from Kimberly. And she said, Linda, it was the easiest grant I'd ever written. It was like 4 pages. $84,000. Why? Because she knows how to do it now. She's in the course. Cherie, $11,000. These are organizations that are Black organizations. They're not professional grant writers. Most of them had never written a grant before. Here's an extra bonus for you. If you know about the U.S. Black Chambers, you know that they release a Buy Black list. It is a list of grants for small businesses and Black-led nonprofits. If you buy the course, this is an extra bonus. It's $195 to subscribe. I'm going to give you the most recent list. I'm going to just gift that to you because I want you to get off to a good start. All right? All right. We're on to the Q&A. We're on to the Q&A. So I'm going to stop sharing. And for those of you who are asking, okay, I'm going to show you really quickly how you buy the course. All right. Really quickly, this is how you buy the course. I'm going to share my screen, take you through this really quickly. It's $297, right? But you're going to hit the $497. I'm doing this live. I'm hitting purchase now. The link is in the chat. I hit purchase now. You have a coupon. Please input your coupon. SEPT24. Click apply. It took off $200. You're only paying $297. One and done. Now you see this little block here. This is a private VIP session with me, you and me, 1 hour. I do a deep dive into your organization. I examine your mission, your vision, your infrastructure, your target population, all of your programming, your website. It is a strategy session. You will leave with complete clarity. You get the session notes and you even get the video. You even get a little mini list of grants for you. It's $497 for the hour. That's what people pay. The only time you will see it reduced to $247 is if you add it on with the course. All right. So if you want to meet with me privately for a strategy session, click the box. But it's optional. You click the box, you're not $554, but you don't have to click the box. It's optional. What I do want to share with you is that we offer buy now, pay later. If you want the buy now, pay later and put your email, get your account, this is important because I don't know why they hide it, but they do. If you want the buy now, pay later, you will see the payment method box. hit like change or pay another way or new payment method until you see the options. We offer Afterpay. You may have to click the little drop down box. We offer Affirm. We offer Klarna. 4 months same as cash. 4 months same as cash. That's $75 a month, people. I don't even know of a $75 grant. I don't even know of a $300 grant. The first grant you get, you will pay for everything. All right. That's if you want the buy now, pay later. I'm just saying to you that we do offer it. If not, credit card, PayPal, Google Pay, Cash App Pay. All right. And one other option, if you just want to pay us twice, you can. We have a 2-month payment plan. I talked about it earlier. For everybody else, it's $275 a month, but not for you because you have that coupon code, right? So input your coupon code. What is it? SEPT 24, what with the little T for 2 months? Hit apply. Now you're only paying $175 a month for 2 months and you're done. And yes, if you still want to meet with me privately, you can check the box. All right. So the buy now, pay later is only if you choose the $297, right? Because then they'll divide it into 4, or you can pay us twice. All right. So those options are literally in the chat. All right. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to get to the Q&A. I'm looking at the Q&A box. I see no questions in the Q&A box. I'm going over to the webinar chat. I'm starting at the top because I did see some questions. So I'm going through. All right. Going through slowly to get to the questions. Yes, it's $297. That's one and done. That's for the course, the coaching, Facebook group, everything, one and done. Again, I do have other resources. If you want me to create a list of grants for you, we do grant research. If you want ongoing coaching, we provide grant coaching. I also provide a grant boot camp. That's 2 days with me, 7 hours a day for 2 days. You leave with a completed grant application that you're going to submit. Keisha took the boot camp. She had never written a grant before. She got a $100,000 grant 8 weeks later after taking the boot camp. So if you want any of those resources, I'm going to input my email into the chat. Also, please put my email, all of you, put my email into your email contact list because you're going to get the replay via email, and I just don't want it going to your spam. So it's hello@grantwritingfornonwriters.com. But before we do anything else, do not leave until you do this. This is very important. I believe in manifestation. Some of you have been trying to get grants for a very long time. All right. Now is the time, but it starts here. And then you got to get it out. Like, release this into the universe, people, please. I want all of you right now, before you leave here, do this for you. Do not do this for me. I want you to put it into the webinar chat. I am ready to get grant money. I am ready to get grant money. Please don't let this be another webinar that you have attended and you don't do anything with. Too much information for you to place yourself in a position to get grant money. All right. So into the chat, I am ready to get grant money. I am ready to get grant money. I am ready to get grant money. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, Tranisha, Stephen, Macy, like write this down. Jennifer, Gerald, yes, Mavis, Leanne, like get this out. Get this out into the universe. Yashika, Jessica. Yes, yes, yes. Like get this out. Right? We don't have the luxury of waiting for anybody to come save us. I have a coach, Lamar. He says all the time, you're the one you've been waiting for. You are the one you've been waiting for. So I'm saying this to you. You are the ones you have been waiting for. You have the opportunity to actually get help from a grants expert for $297, like flat, like period, like you never pay anything else again. You've got to be able to invest just a little bit into you and your vision and your organization, because there are people waiting on your skills and your talents, right? You are waiting on you. You are waiting on you. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Dana, Damon. Thank you, Tranisha. It's time to get grant funding. Bequest giving means that when you have passed away, you have set aside money for a foundation to give. So once you are deceased, there's money available to be given to something that was important to you, or cause that was important to you. Maybe you were a veteran. You want to make sure that there's an amount of money that the foundation will give to organizations that serve veterans. All right. Send me an email, Gerald. All right. Let me go through and answer the questions. There's still time. All right. Let's see. Questions. What if you are just starting out with no income? I talked about that. One, there's a startup, pursue startup grants, but get that impact statement. Get the impact statement done. I just had a coaching class with a client yesterday. She hadn't started. Literally just started her organization in July. No money. We created a phenomenal impact statement of what she expects to happen with her clients once she starts. So you can project. All right, let's see. There's opportunity to get grants year after year with impact reports. Absolutely. Plus, pay attention to the aligned goals. So the impact reports are important because after you get your grant, at the end of year one, you have to submit a grantee report. In the grantee report, you want to describe to that funder or that foundation how you spent their money. And the best thing you can do is showcase how that money was utilized to impact your clientele or the people that you serve. Because if you do it and you do it well, and the course teaches you how to do it, and I help you with it, you will be in a much better position to not only get a second grant, but to ask for more money. I always recommend asking for more money in year 2, 3, 4, whatever. Always ask for more money. All right. Let's see. Foundation suggestions based on what? I showed you how to get them, right? So you're going to use one of those portals, Grant Station, Grant Watch, Foundation Directory Online, right? To search for the foundations that would give you funding. But in terms of what foundation, depends on what you're doing. Do you have a nonprofit? Do you have a for-profit? I showed you how to do research with Grant Station, for example. You got to plug in the information. Who is your target population? Who are you helping? Right? There is a process to this. And so the people who are in my course, they understand the process, and that's why they're getting money, right? There's a process to it. All right, let's see. Yes, Ina, name your 5. AI is absolutely your friend. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. All right, let's see. It's all about building relationships. Yes. Yes, register for the webinar next week. Melissa, if you could drop that link one more time, the grant meeting secrets, just drop that link for those who want to register. And if you could drop the link to the course again as well, to the course. Will this be beneficial if you have a GovCon business? I have no idea what a GovCon business is. You have to let me know what that is. I have no idea what that is. How can we get the list? You're going to get the replay. You get the replay. So do your screenshots when you get the replay. So what if you're starting up with no income? So I address that if you have no income. Show your projected impact. The boot camp is phenomenal. So the boot camp, 2 days with me, 7 hours a day. At the end of the boot camp, you leave with a completed grant application. I'm going to teach you AI over the course of the 2 days. So you're with me privately, 7 hours a day, 2 days, right? I mentioned Keisha took it 6 weeks later. She had her first grant. And then the next 2 weeks, she had a $100,000 grant, had never written a grant before. I teach you grant writing. It includes the course. It also includes my brand new AI course, which is releasing October 1st. It includes that. So we're going to be together for 2 days, 7 hours a day, right? You leave with the implementation plan. You leave with a completed grant application. All right. If you're interested in the boot camp, send me an email. Let me see if I can't. Do you have the boot camp link, Melissa? If so, and you want to put it in, let me just see if, oh, I think I have it here. Here it is. Here's the link to the boot camp. If you're interested in the boot camp, I'm going to place that into the chat. The boot camp is $2,000 for 2 days. All right, let's see. All right. Yes, it's $2,000 for 2 days. And we have a payment plan with it as well. Let's see. I'm just looking. Oh, yes, you write it off. You write the $297 off. It is a business expense, so you just write it off. Absolutely. Let's see. Target foundations 1 or 2 at a time. You could actually target more than that. You can target more than that. Someone said paperwork for days with banks. That reminds me, let me just say a couple of words about the grantee report. So when you get a grant, you have to submit a grantee report a year after you won the grant. And in essence, it's talking about how did you utilize the grant funding, right? How did you utilize the grant? It is so important to be in the community, people. I met with a young lady a couple of days ago. She services nonprofits. And she was saying there's so many nonprofits. This is how you've got to be in a community so that you know what you're doing. She services nonprofits. So many nonprofits have no idea about the grantee report. If you say in a grant application that you are going to spend $10,000 on staff to hire contractors, and if you get the $10,000 grant and you decide that you're going to buy IT with it, you're going to be giving the $10,000 back, right? You have to spend the money in the way in which you wrote about it in the grant application. Let's see. Other questions. Mavis, if you bought the grant writing power bundle, the AI and success kits, it went to your email. Please look into your spam. Look in your spam folder. It will be in there. If it was not in your spam, it should be, because it goes out immediately to your email. Just look in your spam. If it's not in the spam, send us an email and we will send it to you. The email is hello@grantwritingfornonwriters.com. It's in the chat, but please look in your spam. There's just an industry issue with emails going to spam. It's not just us. There's just such an issue with people not getting their emails. Thank you. Let's see. All right, let's see. Thank you, Gerald. All right. How long do we have to purchase the toothpaste? You have, and to get the discount, you have 3 days. To get the additional $200 off, which you want, you've got 2 days. Most people don't even have a coupon. You have a huge coupon. You've got 3 days. You have until Friday to get the additional $200 off. You have until Friday. All right. Let me see if there are any other questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. There is a link for the boot camp. Yes, we put in the link for the boot camp. It's $1,997. That's a private session with you and me. Private session. You will leave with a completed grant application that's going to be ready to submit, right? And you know, or maybe you don't know, I mean, you can spend $5,000 to hire a grant writer to write one grant for you. That's very possible. But in the boot camp, you and I are going to work together for 2 days, 7 hours a day. So you got to be ready. You got to be ready. It's a lot of work, but it will be worth it, because you'll have everything you need You will have a written grant application. You will have a grant template. You will leave with a list of grants for your organization. That's why it's such a deal. It's like literally you get like $10,000 worth of resources in the boot camp, right? Because if you hired me to create a list of grants for you, that starts at $2,000, right? I don't write grants anymore, right? I have grant writing partners, right? If you want to hire a grant writer, right? That I guarantee you is going to start at probably $3, $4, or $5,000. With the boot camp, you're working directly with me to do everything. So I'm going to be right there with you to help you create the grant application, the grant template, right? We're going to research. You will leave with a list of grants for your organization, right? But I think most importantly is that you leave with that grant application. We're through our grant research together, we're going to find a grant. We're going to find a grant. All right. So after that boot camp, you have everything you need, which is why Keisha, 6 weeks later, she had her first grant because she had everything. And then 2 weeks later, she got the $100,000 grant because she had everything she needed. All right. Can you apply and receive grant money for government contracting business? It depends on what you are doing, right? But yes, absolutely. Not only that, but it sounds like you should be seeking government contracts. You don't have to be a huge conglomeration to get government contracts, but based on what you do, the government does provide grant money for small businesses and nonprofits, right? So while we know a lot of the federal grant money has been cut, not all of it has been cut, right? That's where your grant research is so important. So important. All right. Thank you. I believe we are done. Oh, I see one other question. Let me make sure. Okay, I think I answered your question, Damon. So yes, that is very possible. Do the grant research and find it's more about what are the services that you are providing, right? What is your area of interest beyond just you being a government contract business? What are you providing? What is your service? Because based on what your service is, you need to be searching for grants based on that service. The government may be one of your clients, that's fine. But based on what you do, there will be other grant money available to help you, right, with your business. All right. All right. I believe we are done. That's where you need help, Damon, because you're saying your service is not in one particular area. It depends on what you're doing because you can define it and it can be in more than one area. Let me talk about this for just a moment based on what he said. He said his service is not in one particular area. This is how you search for grants in multiple categories. I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say you have a program where you are placing, right, homeless veterans in transitional housing. Homeless veterans in transitional housing. There's probably 4 or 5 different categories right there where you should be seeking grants. Veterans, that's your target population. Look for grants for organizations that serve veterans. They're homeless. That's a completely different category. Search for grants that are geared towards organizations that serve the homeless. You want to place them into transitional housing. Now we're talking about affordable housing. There are grants geared towards organizations that deal with affordable housing. 3 totally separate categories, right? But they all include what you're doing. So you can be getting money from 3 totally different organizations because you serve the homeless, you serve veterans, and you deal with transitional housing. So that's how you research based on what you do and who you're serving and what your service is. All right. All right. I believe we are done. So let me just make sure. Hopefully, I will see you in the course over the next 3 days because this is what I'll do for you special. When you come into the Facebook group, for those of you who are buying the course, you're going to get 3 emails. One email will be your link to the course, and the other email will be your link to the Facebook group. When you get into the Facebook group, I'm going to ask you to give me a synopsis about your organization, right? Just 3 or 4 sentences, your location, what you do. When you do that, I'm going to give you some links that will help you get off to a great start. So I'm going to give you some links that I want you to investigate based on your organization to get you off to a good start. For those of you who are buying the course, and don't forget, you get the Buy Black list. That is a list of grants for Black businesses and Black-led nonprofits. So once you buy the course, you're going to get access to so many grants. All right. But I'll teach you how to write. I'll teach you how to do the writing. And then also, once you get into the course, the grant coaching that I provide, that's monthly, that's live with your questions. If you have questions about AI, right? I'm literally releasing it took me 2 years to create my grant writing course using AI. That's being released October 1st. That will teach you soup to nuts how to use AI when you're writing grants, right? You get that though when you buy the boot camp. You actually get that brand new course that's releasing October 1st. So the boot camp is so good because you just get everything you need. All right. So I think the link to the boot camp is in the webinar chat. And then once you buy it, we set up the time that you and I are going to meet. 2 days, clear your calendar. All right. All right. Okay. I want to thank all of you for hopping on. I'm going to wrap things up. I answered all of the questions. I hope to see you in the Facebook group. I hope you do this for you. It's less than $300, people. You get access to me. I have colleagues, all transparency. I have colleagues that charge $2,000 for their grant writing course, and you don't even get what you get here. People, it's less than $300 for you to finally get the help that you need. All right, but you've got to do it for you. All right. So thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in. My name is Linda Peavy, creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys to Winning Grant Proposals, and founder of LaPav Consulting. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You could have been somewhere else at noon. You let me know you need the help. That's actually why you get that additional discount. So I hope to see you soon. I hope to see you in the course. I hope you're able to do this for you and to move forward. Whatever you do, do not stop. Whatever you do, move forward because your services and your organization is so needed. It's needed now more so than ever before. All right. Just come get the help you need to know where to go. I believe time is money. And too often we spend a lot of time chasing the wrong stuff, right? Be strategic. Time is money. Know where to find the money. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And I want you to have a blessed and a safe rest of your week and weekend. Stay safe, people. Stay safe. Stay focused. Stay focused. Stay safe. All right. You are needed, and the work that you do is so needed now more so than ever before. So thank you so much. And keep in mind something that I live by, something that I absolutely live by. Your success is on the other side of your fear. Your success is on the other side of your fear, right? Push through it. When it comes to the grants, you get all the help you can possibly want, but you've got to do it. You got to push through and do it. We're here to help you. Thank you so much. And hopefully I will see you very, very soon. All right. Bye-bye.